Hello, I'm United States Senator Saxby Chambliss, and thanks for tuning in again to our YouTube address. It's been a while since we had a chance to visit because the Senate has been out on a couple of breaks, and we're back at work and very busy in Washington right now. We're just concluding the passage of a new 5-year farm bill, and this is something that is always very controversial. It is very complex, but is vitally important to every individual across America, but particularly to Georgians, because agriculture continues to be our #1 industry and our #1 economic driver across our state. This farm bill is a little different from ones that I have previously been involved in. It's my 4th farm bill, and while it seeks to provide a safety net for farmers and ranchers, the end result is that it provides a safety net for Midwest farmers and ranchers and not farmers and ranchers in the southeastern part of the United States. We've tried to make some corrections to the bill to ensure that all regions are treated fairly and equitably, but unfortunately that has not been the case in this bill, so I'm not supporting this bill. I'm very hopeful that as we move to conference that we'll be able to correct the problems in the bill from a regional standpoint, and that farmers and ranchers in the southeastern part of the United States will ultimately be treated fairly and equitably. We are eliminating direct payments. I have never been a real advocate for direct payments because that's checks coming out of Washington that go to individuals whether they farm or not. There's nothing right about that. The money that we spend in the farm bill, and there's an awful lot of money spent in every farm bill, needs to be used for the right purposes. And when funds do come out of Washington going to farmers, it needs to be done in the right way and for the right reasons, not to guarantee any farmer a profit, but just to ensure that they're able to farm for the next year. Direct payments don't do that. So the elimination of direct payments is going to take place in this farm bill, and I'm a strong advocate for that. At the end of the day, what I want to make sure of is that we provide that safety net to our farmers, that we also provide the right kind of conservation policies to allow the continued utilization of our lands in the right way, and also to provide very meaningful nutrition programs. What most people don't understand is that about 85% of the money spent in any farm bill is spent on nutrition programs. That's for food stamps, school lunch programs, women, infant, and children programs, and also collateral type programs. We're hopeful that we're going to conclude this in the next day or so, and that the House will move quickly to adopt a farm bill that's more in line with treating all regions equitably, and as we go to conference that we can resolve our differences. There are a couple of other issues that I want to particularly mention to you today. One has me as furious as I can be. As the Vice Chairman of the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, I'm briefed every day about what's going on from a terrorist standpoint around the world. Over the last several weeks and last couple of months, we have seen a number of leaks coming out of Washington, maybe out of the White House, maybe out of some area of the intelligence community. These leaks are very damaging to the national security of the United States. We are seeing our sources and methods compromised. We are seeing lives put in danger because of these leaks. And unless we put a stop to this, then we're going to continue to see those sources and methods exposed, and our intelligence community is going to lose the very valuable relationship that we have with allies around the world who participate in various intelligence operations with us. The reason I am so furious about this at this point is that the Attorney General now has taken a step that, in my opinion, will not provide the right kind of investigation into where these leaks came from. When we had a leak during the Bush administration regarding the outing of a CIA undercover operator, the Bush White House appointed a special counsel and gave that special counsel independent authority to investigate that scenario. At the end of the day, there was an uncovering of exactly what happened. Here, the Attorney General has appointed 2 United States attorneys, one from the District of Columbia and one from Maryland, to investigate 2 of the stories that were involved in this leaking. But there are other stories in addition to those 2 that need to be investigated. And while these U.S. attorneys are good men, I'm sure they're outstanding prosecutors, they are answerable to the Attorney General. We need an independent special counsel who is answerable to the American people about what happened and who leaked this sensitive information. And we also need them to have the ability to convene a grand jury and ultimately, if they find out who was involved in the leaks, to prosecute the individuals responsible. That is not happening. And as I say, I'm just as furious as I can be about this, and we're going to continue to pound this issue until hopefully we see a real special counsel appointed. The other issue that I want to mention to you is what's happened with respect to the program called Fast and Furious that was conducted by this White House out on the border with Mexico, and the selling of guns to Mexican cartels, and ultimately the death of a Border Patrol agent as a result of some of those sales. The issue has been investigated by the House Government Relations Committee since October of last year. They have uncovered some very direct commitments and very direct involvement by the White House in this activity. But yet, when the House Investigating Committee subpoenaed documents from the Attorney General refused to produce those documents. Now, this is an administration that campaigned on the basis of being the most open and transparent administration in the history of our country. It's pretty obvious that is not what's taking place, particularly when after the Attorney General refused to release these documents and the Attorney General was going to be held in contempt of the House subpoena, the President of the United States stepped in and exerted executive privilege to deny the release of these documents. That is not being transparent. That is not being open with the American people. And I know my colleagues on the House side are going to continue to pursue this. And again, I'm very hopeful that they'll be successful in ultimately having the production of all of these documents so the American people can see exactly what happened with respect to the Fast and Furious operation, and if it did involve the sale of guns that led to the death of a Border Patrol agent, the American people need to know that. So there are a lot of things popping in Washington right now. I urge you to continue to follow these and other measures and contact me with respect to your questions, your thoughts, and your ideas on these issues or others. Thanks very much for tuning in. We'll look forward to seeing you in our next YouTube address. God bless you, and may God bless America.